board made that decision before, after last year was not a success. The board had made a motion to go back to Orchard Park.
I talked to him.
Yeah.
He felt that way too.
Yeah.
So he's aware of a new location
Correct.
that he thinks will be for better viewing. So.
Mhm. That will also, those individuals that are there will also give us the volunteers needed to maintain a safety perimeter around his area for shooting off fireworks, along with the police officers that are present. So we'll be able to maintain everyone's safety with the group of us that'll be down there. So.
I mean, is anyone else included with this? Is Parks putting out extra barrels? I mean,
As far as I know, there's not going to be any prep work because it's just going to be like, I mean, other than what they would normally do for fireworks, because we're not going to need any, I mean, unless, there should not be any more than what is normally in the parks in years past, I wouldn't expect. So as long as they get out the barrels that we normally have out, which there are usually barrels set up by the Parks Department, like in the baseball outfield and such like that, because of, you know, viewers being in other locations other than just the pavilions. But I mean, I can reach out and have a conversation with them if that would be helpful.
I think John should run it through the parks. Can we get a list of what is happening out there, you know, that day, so we know and could possibly advertise it through City Hall?
Yes, and that's the plan. I had spoken with Dana about getting it on the website and social media when we get a definite nail down of what games and activities will be included in that, which should be happening by the end of this week.
Mark, you guys are already going to be staffed up for that event anyway, right?
I haven't really talked to Chief about it, but I mean, he'll at least have me, him if he's on vacation. He'll have Lieutenant Sykes, Lieutenant Burton, as long as they're not on vacation. You know, we're already short-staffed the way it is on the road, so.
Right, but your command staff would all be.
Yeah, well, we should all be there as long as nobody's on vacation that day.
Yeah. Because it'll be an evening thing. Right? So I mean, you're talking about starting just games at like 6 or something, aren't you?
Right.
Yeah. So it would just be evening. And the traffic control, will you get assistance, or is it all on us to do all that?
We used to do the traffic control like a long time ago. I don't know. I don't know what happened last year. I think that we still did it last year too. I mean, yeah, we used to have like 2 on North Commercial and Orchard, and we used to have 2 on. You know, that was when we weren't short-staffed. So you take somebody from the road to have them do traffic control, and then they get a call, and then they use no one doing traffic control at that point. You know, so I'll talk to Chief when he gets back from vacation, and we'll get it figured out.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
Well, figure out what your needs are going to be, and maybe some of the salaries that employees can flex their time or something.
Okay.
The Franklin County Municipal League Dinner at New Haven Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
Social hour starts at 6, dinner at 7. Next we have the recreational.
And that's your meeting, right? Aren't you?
Yeah, we turned over to St. Clair. Yes. Next we have recreational marijuana 3% sales tax update. Mr. Lippert.
So the Missouri City Managers Association and Missouri City Clerks Administration, they've all been talking, and so it sounds like we're all good to go, right? Ken, we're just going to move forward with that notice, and you know, I think our ordinance that we had will be fine, right? Isn't that what we believe? So, I don't know exactly when we'll start collecting that. But it's part of its law, and voters passed it. So.
I don't think it starts till October.
I was thinking
August.
August, maybe. Later in the year.
It's only a 39-page constitutional amendment.
Yes.
So if we read it again and be totally versed.
I thought.
Regardless, it'll
be like.
In my notes, they did a poll, and I don't know that it failed. There were use taxes all failed everywhere, but I don't know that it in any municipality that offered it. I don't know that it failed.
I think a couple in North St. Louis.
Oh, we're in North St. Louis, but of the surveys that I saw, very, very few. So it was pretty resounding. Sure.
Next, we have recognition of service. Congratulations on 6 years of service. Dear Alderman Beelan, on behalf of the City of St. Clair, we congratulate you on your 6th anniversary as an elected official. This year signifies a key milestone in your service, and we'd like to celebrate your achievements with you today. We know that our growth and success is dependent on having devoted and capable public servants such as you, and we want to recognize the contributions you have made in helping us achieve our goals. To honor your service, we would like to present you with this prestigious service award. We hope that this award will always remind you of your appreciation for your hard work and dedication. Thank you for everything you've done during these 6 years of service and for your ongoing commitment to the City of St. Clair's success.
Wait, that's your.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No, I know, they're all,
Oh, okay.
we're gonna number 5, 10, 15, 20, 25.
Just because you're extra.
You're so funny. Congratulations on 5 years of service, dear Alderman Sykes. On behalf of the City of St. Clair, we congratulate you on your 5th anniversary as an elected official. This year signifies a key milestone in your service, and we'd like to celebrate your achievements with you today. We know that our growth and success is dependent on having devoted and capable public servants such as you, and we want to recognize the contributions you have made in helping us achieve our goals. To honor your service, we would like to present you with this prestigious service award. We hope that this award will always remind you of our appreciation for your hard work and dedication. Thank you for everything you have done during these 5 years of service and for your ongoing commitment to the City of St. Clair's success.
Thank you.
And next, we need to have board president appointment. The board for nominations.
I'd like to nominate Alderman Saling to continue in her position.
Thank you.
May I have roll call, please?
Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Alderman Delworth.
Aye.
Alderman Beelan.
Aye.
Alderman Salem.
Motion carries. Congratulations. Next, we have a revision of the personnel policy regarding the use of social media. Administrator Lippert.
I put this in your packet for you guys to review, and if you want to take more time, and we can move forward on it at our next meeting. In our personnel use policy, under internet, computer, email use, we basically had 5 lines that talked about guidelines for all of our employees on the use of social media and their comments and things that we made. And so one is to kind of establish a directive, a guideline, establish chain of command, flow of information. It's not any different than if an incident would happen with the city. We want that information to flow through a source, so you don't have 27 people posting information or on Facebook. It also is, there's now all these anti-bullying rules and everything else. So this is, I collected this information from 5 or 6 other municipalities to see what they did, and then kind of compiled all that into one amendment, basically. And it really just, more than anything else, provides my staff a guideline and a flow of information for posting for social media. So it's this is a draft, you're welcome to mark it up, you're welcome to change it if you would like to, anything you'd like to. This is a step for me to begin to establish what I think is a chain of command that establishes how information flows. And honestly, you know, the concern of social media is once it's out there, it's out there. You know, it's nothing you can take back. I just don't, you know, I mean, no matter what, anything that gets put out there reflects on me, reflects on you as a board. And so this is just my steps to begin to, you know, provide some guidelines for social media use when it comes directly to the city and their code. So, if you haven't had a chance to read it and you want to defer, I certainly would understand that we can you know, push it down. This is offered for you to see, and I'll be happy to give you a copy of what we had in our policy. But this replaces section F, is all that does. Question?
Yeah, you're talking about the city page itself or just generalized social media?
Well, it's, you know, if you look at it, it's a lot about don't posting pictures of coworkers without their consent, don't post pictures of, you know, events that directly involve the city without, you know, consent of your supervisor, those kind of things. So it really has to do with anybody posting information that may derogatorily reflect on the city or fellow employees, is really what it does. So it's, yeah, it's more than anything else, it's a guideline, but it does really just establishes a chain on social
I've read over it and feel comfortable with it. Are the other aldermen ready to vote?
Do we need a motion to
Yeah.
approve?
Just to approve it, it's just a policy.
So I'll make a motion to accept the updated social media personnel policy that has been presented to us.
I'll second it. May I have roll call, please?
Alderman Beelen.
Aye.
Alderman Salem.
Aye.
Alderman Dollar. Aye. Alderman Sykes.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next, we have authorization for the city administrator to make short-term CD investments. Administrator Lippert?
So right now, we've got money in 4 different money market accounts that are held separately because of how they're designated. For instance, you know, ARPA money is sitting in an account, basically doing nothing. We've got, let's see, what are some of the other accounts? We've got just a public fund MMDA account that is sitting there in a money market. So as a financial planner for 30 years, a numbers guy and a money guy, you know, I look at that in 6 months, where it's at, you know, it makes about $300 in interest, maybe $1,000 in all this account interest. Versus right now, because the yield curve is so inverted, short-term rates, the 3-month and 6-month rates are at 4%. You know, so it's a difference of maybe $1,000 versus $18,000 in interest in 6 months. And you know, the availability of this is that if we keep it in-house with the mark, where the funds, the accounts would be titled exactly, so they would just be reinvested, a portion of it, into something that is a guaranteed fixed CD. And then if we had to get into those funds, we would just sacrifice, you know, a month's worth of interest. So, you know, it's interest you're not making now. And of course, you know, I looked at some of these, you know, for instance, if you take, you know, like 150,000 out of the 400 that's still available and you invested for 6 months, you know, you're gonna make $5,000 in interest on just that one account, you know, versus it's sitting there at 10 basis points, basically doing nothing. So what I'm asking for is in these situations, when it proves diligent for a very short term, is the ability to still manage the finances in a fixed guaranteed rate, particularly like now where it's really conducive. You do that. So it's a suggestion. I'm trying to be the best steward of the city's money. Again, I think I added it up and it's close to a $17,000 difference over 6 months. But I take just a portion of that and put it into something that's a fixed 4%.
So these are 6-month CDs that we would need to have in there for 6 months, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not a sweep account of any kind?
It could be if we asked it to, but it's, right now, that would be just taking money and dedicating a portion of it to making just a fixed CD for 6 months, yeah. So, yeah, they're not gonna pay us on the full money, but it's just a portion of
Did you ask him about a sweep account?
that. I mean, what I'm looking for is just the opportunity to look at alternatives. I mean, I'd be happy to email you guys for approval, but I'm looking at, this is sometimes time sensitive. And again, I mean, this is something that I have 30 years of experience in doing. I just feel like it just kills me to see this sitting there doing nothing when they could be making, I mean, potentially this is half of one of our salaries.
I think it's a start.
So I think that, given the nature of the fact that the administration, your chair, and this board can always change, I see it's beneficial now, but I think we have to be careful in how we word that authorization, just considering that not everyone that sits in that office may have the money experience.
I wholeheartedly.
So, I think we should consider somehow the verbiage stating that it can be invested for no longer than 6 months, in only fixed rate CDs. That way we're not having somebody just, do something crazy. I don't know, just to protect the city in the future.
This is something that I'm asking for. So if you want to make it exclusive to me, I don't know why you couldn't do that too, to be honest with you.
I do have a question, the ARPA account that's on here.
It would be an ARPA account too. It would exactly be titled to the account numbers would be 1 digit off, so they would be back and forth.
Can we earn money off of ARPA funds?
You are now.
Mhm.
Maybe 10 basis points.
I remember we rolled those ARPA funds into,
Whoa.
All right.
into that interest-bearing account because somewhere along the line, since that money came into our possession, someone had found out that we could put it in an interest-bearing account. I do remember that discussion. I can't remember at this point who led that discussion or research, but it was a discussion the board did have at some point.
And not to insult anybody's intelligence, but
Yep.
10 basis points is 1/10 of 1%.
So I'll make the motion that we give Administrator Lippert the authority to move money into short-term, not to exceed 6-month CDs at a fixed interest rate at his discretion.
Could you rephrase your motion to get rid of the 6 months? Because sometimes one more month can make a big difference on a CD. In some banks, I don't know how Farmers and Merchants has it, but some will use a 7-month CD, and that's only one more month.
Right.
I know we don't want to go for a year, and I agree that we don't want to go for a year, but possibly 7 months.
Okay, so I'll amend my motion to not exceed 8 months. That way we have a little bit of wiggle room. And like you said, we can always get into it. I mean, we might sacrifice a month's interest, but it's always accessible to us. So my amended motion is that we give Administrator Lippert authorization to invest at his discretion in fixed rate CDs not to exceed 8 months.
Second.
May I have roll call, please?
Alderman Dover. Aye. Alderman Seif.
Aye.
Alderman Saley. Alderman Wheeler.
Aye. Motion carries. Next, we have a proposal to expand city limits by annexing Highway 47 North right-of-way to Highway AD/Shoe Cart Road for future growth. Administrator.
So this is listed in 2 parts just for the ease of explanation, but what we're trying to do is to annex the highway right-of-way allow for future growth, mostly on